The following podcast is an exclusive presentation of Project Entertainment Network.
Bizzong.
Bizzong.
Bizzong. Bizzong. Bizzong.
Bizzong. Bizzong. Bizzong. Bizzong. Bizzong. Bizzong.
This is Bizzong, the Bizarre Weird Fiction Podcast with me, your host, Mr. Frag Zongers. Welcome back. You're all looking so good this week and well rested after that big trip out to Portland, Oregon for the BizarroCon 2016. So welcome back. I hope you're all ready to get on with a new year in Bizarro, as it were. It's like the clock is reset. It's the fiscal year for Bizzarro now. They're all new. But first, here on Bizzong, of course, we got business to take care of as always. A little commerce for your asses, Zongers. I got a question for you. Are you the person that likes to stand out in a crowd? Then I've got the place for you. Subculture Corsets and Clothing is an amazing store in Jacksonville, Florida that carries all types of corsets. They've got gothic, rockabilly, steampunk, and pinup clothing. They've got shoes and accessories. Their clothing is available in sizes 4 through 4X, and they offer men's clothing as well. Visit Subculture online at www.subculturecorsets.com. That's subculturecorsets.com. Shop now while listening to Bizzong, and when you're checking out, use the discount code Bizzong for 10% off your entire purchase. That's subculturecorsets.com and use the discount code Bizzong for 10% off your entire order. Buy more, save more, Zongers. You know how it goes. And look good, look sharp, look sexy in the process. Visit them now at subculturecorsets.com. And once you put on your Subculture Corset clothing, you're going to look so good. You already look so good, but you're going to be insatiable once you wear your Subculture Corsets and clothing. Zongers. So I got something special for you as a gift for being so freaking awesome. This week we have, man, he's burst onto the scene, as it were, from seemingly out of nowhere. Our next guest has come hard with 3 books this year. And on top of that, the guy's like in a touring punk rock band. He's like an actor. He does a lot of nonfiction work. He kind of does script work. You'll hear all about it. He's a man of all seasons. Another one of them busybodies that I don't know how he has time to do anything. He does so much. And you all saw him out there at BizarroCon. This week's guest on Bizzong is, of course, John Wayne Comunale, the new Bizzarro author series author of and poster. Sounds like a great, fun book, but all his books sound good. He has one of them Bizzarro eroticas, the porn star retirement plan book. And he's also got another book out with Rooster called Chargeland that sounds just about as equally as bizarre as Ant Poster. Ant Poster. I talk so quickly with my silly New Jersey accent, Zongers. Sometimes even I don't understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to ask that you will give us the gong. I'd like to welcome to Bizzong this week a man who's he's from the new Bizzarro author series, but you'd never know it looking at his whole bibliography, his whole line of work, really. The man he's a Renaissance man. He doesn't just write books. He's a musician. He's kind of into some acting a little bit. He does some nonfiction stuff. He's all over the place. And like I mentioned, he is one of the new Bizzarro author series writers. Welcome to Bizzong this week, the one and only John Wayne Comunale. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Like I just said, new Bizzarro author series for this year with your book, Ant Poster.
Yeah.
And you just got back from BizarroCon, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you on the spot. You're going to be the the official liaison to report back. What was BizarroCon like this year?
Oh man, this year it was absolutely amazing. Much like it is every year. There was a lot of new people that were there for the first time that we met and kind of jumped them in, and then all my old friends were there, all your old favorites. It was great, man, and I did a lot more stuff at BizarroCon this year than I have the past 3 years that I've been. So that was a nice new experience for me, BizarroCon wise. So it was fantastic, man. Report from the field is all systems go. BizarroCon is great.
Awesome. It looked like a great time. As usual, all the pictures coming back in, the videos of the performances.
Yeah.
I'm always upset that I don't make it out. It is, I've said it often, my intention to be out there next year for sure. So I can't wait to be a part of that for sure. What goes on at BizarroCon around the release of the new Bizzarro author series? Is there like a big ceremony, anything involved with that?
Well, oddly enough, there usually is, except this year was a little different. They usually have a big reading called the new Bizzarro author series reading, funny enough. But so everyone like gathers just to watch the new Bizzarro authors do their performance and their reading. This year, I was the only one in the series that could make it to BizarroCon, so they didn't have a new Bizzarro author series reading this year, which was, kind of a bummer, but, what are you going to do? Garrett just, he introduced my book at the Friday night readings and just kind of told people about it and introduced the series. But I did a couple other readings and performances, so usually yes, but this year, no.
Let's talk about the new Bizzarro author series book, Ant Poster. What's it about?
Well, Ant Poster is the classic coming-of-age story of a young man who's ushered into manhood from an older woman, this older woman being his aunt, who happens to be a poster. And that's the rub. She's just a poster. She's not the woman in the poster. She's just a poster.
I like the pitch. I like the pitch a lot because it's just a pure Bizzarro sort of a pitch. And I got to tell you, what I did was I checked out you actually have a book trailer for Ant Poster.
Yeah.
And that the book trailer is killer, man. It made me want to go buy Ant Poster for sure. That was a lot of fun. It's like a used car parts dealer, slimy salesman pitch thing, and you're giving away these free posters. I guess that's all connected within the story as well.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do, man. My good friend Nick P helped me on that, so shout out to him. And that was a lot of fun. I did it before for Porn Star Retirement Plan earlier this year, different kind of commercial. But this year I took it's actually not even a character from the book, oddly enough. The poster that Ant Poster is from a place called Mackenzie's Transmissions that closed down. So I decided to do the commercial it's like a origin story, I guess, like how they got Ant Poster. But it was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for watching it.
That was totally worth. Like, so many book trailer things are ridiculous. I hate to say it, but they're just stupid, and it makes me want to buy the book even less when they're just poorly done and a bunch of stills and some cheap music and has nothing to do with the book kind of stuff. Now with yours, I mean, that's like you said, it's almost like an origin story, a little backstory. Is not directly pitching the book even necessarily. It's just a little like prequel type short snippet of a thing, and you had some nice green screen work there and everything. It's very original and not something you don't see every day. Do you find, I mean, you said this is the second one you've done. Do you find they kind of help with sales?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I don't know. We're all trying to figure out ways to get people to pay attention to what you're doing at any given point. And there's so many people out there doing it. You kind of got to stand out a little bit. So I thought making like videos like this and making them just really stupid and crazy would do that. So they've gotten a good response so far, and I'm gonna keep doing them, like little short spots throughout the year as I continue to promote the book and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they overall help a lot.
Now I got to call you out here because you're the new Bizzarro author series guy, and like you just said, you have actually 2 other books out prior to the release of the new Bizzarro author series. How does that work?
It's crazy. I don't know how it works. I just had Charge Land come out on Rooster Republic Press. like 2 weeks before BizarroCon. And oddly enough, that was like actually what I had written and submitted to the new Bizzarro author series last year.
Huh.
And, it didn't work. It wasn't a good fit, whatever happened. And I just kind of took it away, redid some stuff, submitted it. Actually pitched it at BizarroCon in Ross Lockhart's pitch workshop. And then Nick Day grabbed me afterwards and we talked about it. And then that's kind of like how that all came about. So that was actually like written, turned in, signed on, and done months and months before I just like messaged Garrett and I said, "Hey, are you still taking pictures for New Bizzarro?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, listen to this." and he liked it, and it just like all kind of, I didn't know when Charged Land was going to be released exactly yet, and I don't think the other guys did, and so it just kind of fell. I know it's really weird to be like, yeah, 2 new books in 1 month, but it's just weird timing, I guess. I don't know.
Well, to everybody's credit, you have blown up, at least on the book and Bizzarro scene this year. I mean, everything's just come out this year, and like you said, the 2, Charged Land and Poster, like right on top of one another. So, with the editing processes and all that stuff, who can predict what comes out when? Obviously, Charged Land. Yeah. Interesting that you submitted that for New Bizzarro author series. The premise comes off a little less bizarre. Certainly seems less bizarro than an Ant Poster type of premise. Do you still feel it's a little more straight-laced, or how do you?
Have you read it yet? Did you read it?
I have not read it yet, no.
Oh, okay. No, I think that it's still pretty bizarro. There's a lot of odd things that happen in Charged Land that take it to a very weird place. Like Jim Charge is, he's a badass motherfucker with a big dick and a smile, and he's just going to take over everything because he's in charge, and that's what he does. It's all told through the perspective of his number 2 in command. There's a disembodied head of the shoe salesman department of the department store. There's a 1-week gestation period pregnancy. There's a pissing match with the President of the United States, and there's a nuclear missile filled with makeup that explodes all over everything. So it gets a little out there. Maybe it just sounds a little straightforward, but that's how I get you.
It's true. The devils are in the details. At least, like I said, I didn't read it, but in the synopsis, those little weird elements do creep in there. I guess just the initial, rub of the story sounds like that. When I read it, it sort of evoked to mind sort of like a new wave of a Rico Slade will fucking kill you. That sort of attitude behind it.
Oh yeah, no, I love that book. But yeah, I can see that. It's not written like, I don't know, Bradley's is like, that's a thrill a minute, nonstop crazy ride. But yeah, I could see how it would be. You could draw a parallel there, character wise.
And of course, it's put out by Rooster Republic, which you can't argue it's Bizzarro validity at all. When Rooster's putting it out, those guys know Bizzarro for sure.
Hell yeah, I love those guys.
And working off of that, Rooster Republic, the first thing you have out is this porn star retirement home under their imprint New Kink Books.
Yeah, Porn Star Retirement Plan is what it is. Yeah, and that came out in January.
Yeah. Was that the first thing you actually wrote?
That was the first thing that was published that wasn't just a short story or an anthology, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And oddly enough, that whole thing started, that was supposed to be an anthology, back before those guys had the press. And then they got split into those New Kink kind of super short novella releases. So that was kind of like a cool fall backwards into something awesome too. So,
it was a short piece that they kind of made you bump up a little bit to become a little novella.
Yeah, I mean, no, I didn't have to add anything to it, but it was supposed to be an anthology when it was first like accepted. So,
oh, sweet.
But yeah, turned out well.
Pretty sweet. Have you? I know they've been working to get those presses back on the rails, as it were, and they look like they're really righting the ship now. Has it been easy working with them, or have you had to have some patience with getting the stuff out?
No, man. Working with the Rooster guys is actually super cool. They're very communicative. Anytime I ask a question or need to know something or need something from them, they like get back to me right away. They're very just like down to earth. You know, the note taking process back and forth, like it's all good. I love those guys a lot, and they are great to work with. So I think that they're getting it righted, and look for more awesome things from Rooster for sure in the future.
Definitely. Or already the stuff they're getting put out now. It's really solid looking stuff. I'm enjoying what they're doing, you know, under Don and Nick's command, as it were. Let's talk about you. You got all these things coming out already. Or have you been a writer all this time? Have you, you know, did you like discover Bizzarro and say I need to be writing this stuff too? How did you come to writing?
I guess I went to school for writing, for creative writing, and it's just something I always loved to do. I love to read, but I really lacked a lot of direction early on in my writing, and you know, I also was like, I'm gonna be a rock star. Fuck writing. But then I'd come back and like write, and then I had like nowhere to. I didn't know what to do with these stories I was writing. Basically, they were weird. I've always been like into the Outer Limits, Tales from the Dark Side type stuff. So that's just kind of like where my imagination leaned to when I was writing. And I didn't know, I couldn't find anything. I basically just like to complain a whole lot, I guess. But then I stumbled upon Bizzarro several years, like 6 or so years ago, through Jeremy Robert Johnson's Angel Dust Apocalypse, as many of us do come in, from that book. And from there, I was like, okay, I've got to get everything I can that is under this flag that they're flying called Bizzarro. So then I kind of found direction from there, and it took me a while to hone it. Like, you know, I've been going to BizzarroCon for 4 years. I've probably been writing seriously for about 5 years, and I just went and worked on the stuff and kept working, and then, you know, paid off. So
good on you, man. Totally good on you for sticking with it. You've been into it for quite a while, and was it difficult? Were you always writing even when you were in school for the creative writing stuff? Was it already coming out weird there, and was it hard to try to present that in a classroom atmosphere, or you were a little more straight-laced back then?
Oh, no. It was all pretty weird, creepy, dark, you know. Of course, there's an element of angst when you're, you know, at that point in your life too, but I would just turn it on its head and try to make it as ridiculous as possible. So yeah, I was always just writing weird, dark stories. But man, you just finding a niche for where those are going to go at that time was just not there for me.
So you come from a punk rock background. You're in a band. We'll get into that some. And a lot of Bizzarro writers, MP Johnson, David Agronoff come to mind off the top of the head. You know, bring their punk with them into Bizzarro. How much of your punk rock background bleeds into your stories?
Probably not too much, honestly. Like, I love MP stuff, and I have what is that? Amazing Punk Stories. That's awesome from Argonoff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I write these for this creative nonfiction series as well. So I usually like take those crazy punk rock stories that I've gone through or whatever, and then like put them into that kind of writing. I don't know. I haven't written a punk rock story yet. Maybe I need to. What's wrong with me? Am I some kind of poser or something? Oh man, damn it!
You're just waiting for your time. You're honing it. You're sharpening your knife, getting it ready.
Yeah, when it's time for it to be dropped in, it will be.
Sure, it definitely will. So let's get into some of the punk rock stuff. You're in a band. John Wayne is dead, and you're a touring punk rock band currently, correct?
Yeah, man. We're based out of Houston, Texas, and we tour around Texas a whole lot. We've done some back and forth across the country stuff. Just recording records and going out and playing them. So it's a lot of fun.
Nowadays, is that your first love, or do you have a little more leaning towards the writing? Where do you fit all that stuff in and rank it? Man,
that's interesting because a lot of people ask me that. and it's weird. I don't know. It's just like you kind of gravitate, like when this needs to be hot, like I'm more on the writing side if that's where it needs to be. But if there's a big project for the band coming up, then I kind of have to pull creative energy more over there. As far as for me, I mean, I get a different kind of fulfillment from both things. That's both very gratifying and awesome for me. But one thing that I do like about writing over being in a band is you don't have to rely on anybody else. Like, it's all on you. You do it or you don't do it. No one's like running late or, going out with their girlfriend instead of coming to practice. It's like all controlled by you. So I do like that element when it comes to writing. Very
cool. And you also have nonfiction stuff, like you mentioned, you dabble in it, but that's more art related.
Well, yeah, I write. I've been working with a theater and art collective here in Houston called Bootown, and they do a lot of awesome things. And one of the shows, they do a monthly show called Grown Up Story Time. So for about 4 years, I've been writing for that monthly series, where you write a story, like something that's happened to you. It's the kind of story you tell your buddy in a bar, like, "Oh, you will not believe this, man." And it's kind of like that, but they don't all have to be like that. There's a lot of serious ones. It's kind of just like a slice of life story thing, but you write it and you don't actually perform your story, which is, I know, weird coming from the writer background where you do readings of your own stuff. Somebody else performs your work, which is actually really, really cool. So that's a really great show that that's where this nonfiction that I write goes towards. But, if we're going to be honest here, sometimes I make some stuff up, but you got to spice the pot. You know what I'm saying?
Truly, you got to embellish just a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not interesting otherwise, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
I agree. And, even when I write, I do that so much. I'm like, oh, this thing would be cool, but it's so boring this way. Like, it's got to be pumped up just a little bit.
Yeah, you just use the right language to frame it up and then throw in a little twist that might have happened, but who's to say, really?
I guess it feels a little more naughty when you're doing it as a nonfiction piece, though, right?
Well, no one has to know.
No, okay. we won't tell them. Now, this group you're writing for, do you perform for them at all? I saw you mentioned something about you're like in a sketch comedy type of troupe.
Yeah. We are called Micro Satan. That's a different group. We do share incestuous ties with Bootown. Sometimes we cross over and we work with each other, but Micro Satan is like the sketch group that I'm in here in Houston.
Very sweet. And does that, I guess that performance kind of rolls back into your performance, shall we say, on your book trailer, at least the one I watched.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's I get to flex a lot of the acting muscle chops or whatever when I'm working with Micro Satan. It's cool. We do a monthly show here in Houston. It's the second Friday of every month. We actually write and perform an hour-long sketch show every single month with videos that we do, just like the book trailer type, like stuff like that.
Right.
And it's awesome. It's a different kind of writing. We have weekly meetings, for 3 or 4 hours. We outline things. We hit all the points. We go over stuff, and then you break the show up into parts. Everyone gets a part. Everyone writes their parts, and then you get together and work on it and put it together. And it's just it's still writing. It's just a different way, which I like a lot too, because it, keeps you on your feet. Muscle confusion if you're trying to work out.
Keep everything on its toes. Now, did you have to perform at like BizarreCon, or do you do reading/performances when you're out selling yourself? That type of background come in handy on?
Oh yeah. I'm very glad I get to work with these knuckleheads. I do, and take that kind of stuff on the road. This year I played a music set after Andrew Goldfarb played The Slow Poisoner. So I got to play some music, and And then I did a reading for Chargeland where it was entirely a character reading, and that was a lot of fun. I came in as like the orientation instructor to welcome you to Chargeland, and I just kind of like crashed the scene, like MP Johnson had just read in front of me, and as people were like clapping for him, I just walked out and interrupted, and I was like, all right, everybody, keep it down. Welcome to Chargeland. And I passed them out a flyer and stuff like that. So that was all in character.
Oh, sweet.
And then I was in the Ultimate Bizarro Showdown too, where I did just a whole character piece with my brother, who's a severed head named Timothy, and my name was Second Timothy. And so yeah, I love doing character stuff. I love messing around. It was a lot of fun.
That sounds awesome. All definitely derivative of coming out of that sketch comedy or just sketch acting stuff. Do you get obviously you're out touring with the band? Do you get an opportunity to like market your books along with that? I know you haven't been at the book thing so much. Like, how do you work those two together? Do they wind up being separate? How does that kind of work out so far?
No, actually, I take them. I put them in our merch stuff that when we play, and I mean, so far I've only had the Porn Star Retirement Plan available. You know, now I'm getting these other ones, but yeah, I sell them at the merch booth every once in a while. People are like, "What is this?" It's like, "It's a book I wrote." Whoa! And then and you can imagine where it goes from there.
I could. I guess it kind of goes one way or the other. I would imagine some people,
yeah.
I don't read, and the other people kind of a little more curious, want some more.
Well, I bridge the gap, I think, a little bit because I do a zine, like a comic zine that's called The Afterlife Adventures of John Wayne is Dead, that I draw and write. And it's just about myself and my bandmate Chris, are dead stoners in hell. And we have to go on all these crazy adventures that usually involve buying weed from Baphomet and then missing our gigs because we're too stoned. So I have those there. So it's kind of like comics and words, it's just a natural progression.
And the band's fan base kind of have an idea that you're a writer to begin with, I guess, too.
Yeah. Oh, I put it out there on the John Wayne is Dead website. There's a section I have where it just says John Wayne Writes, and it's all my links to stories, books, all those book trailers and stuff are there. So yeah, I try to, like we said earlier, you're trying to get people to notice what you're doing in this sea of a bunch of people trying to get everyone to notice what they're doing. So if I can capitalize on all these things I'm doing and bring them all together, I absolutely will, and I'm trying to. So.
Have you found that kind of helps you having a built-in fan base on some level to sell the books now, or does it not translate over too well?
It definitely translates over well to the like literary community as far as writing for Bootown in Houston and the sketch and comedy scene that I'm all like a part of. I get a lot of support from them. Like at the music shows, it's hit or miss because I'm already in like band mode, at the show. So I don't want to take too much time to switch gears and like have to slip into like something else to tell them about the books. I'll give them the pitch and tell them what it's all about. Right. So it works well there, but it's not a main focus yet.
Yeah, you can't give it the attention if you were just, as opposed to being like at a con or a book signing where you're, like you said, you're wearing the writer's cap and you can focus on pitching the book, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get a chance? Have you gotten a chance to kind of work some book signings, some convention circuit stuff with the stuff you had out?
Man, no, I haven't. That's my goal this year. Is to hit the con type scene hard. To try to line up a bunch of weekends. Now I have I feel like enough stuff to table effectively because I have t-shirts and I have records and zines along with these books, so I can just have the full table of stuff. And yeah, man, I want to. That's my plan this year. So I will be out there. This past year, I got to do a cool reading that MP Johnson did in Austin at a bookstore. I think Gabino talked about it when he was on here a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So that was one cool thing, but other than that, not yet. But it's on the schedule.
Sounds good. How's the community down there for not only Bizarro, just writing and everything? Is it kind of vibrant? You get a lot of people you can hang out with, talk with, meet face to face with, or is it a little more difficult?
No, it's an awesome community as far as the arts and literature and that are concerned. You know, I give a lot of the credit to Bootown, like I talked about. Once I kind of fell in with them, and they introduced me to a lot of more people who were in the scene and did this kind of thing, and that was cool. But you know, it's all these people that I connect, you know, with, that I'm out there with. They're all writers, but you know, they're maybe not all writing bizarro fiction. They're writing, you know, comedy routines. They're writing sketch shows. There's a lot actually really cool, like a cool poetry scene around here in Houston. I went to a performance not too long ago that was a reading, and it was super awesome, like very performance driven poetry reading. So there's all these little niches, but I think the community in Houston is very supportive, and it's really fun to talk to people who write different things from you. Just kind of learn from them, and maybe they can learn from you.
Good stuff. I had been complaining for probably the last year or two about how I'm in New Jersey. You know, I'm right outside of New York, and there's no bizarro people here. There's like no writers. There's no bookshops, and it seems like my quest and feeling like it's been desolate. I've just recently like keyed into like a bunch of like horror writers are in the state, and you know, a group of bizarros out here connected with last year. And it's feeling better. It's taken some time to find them and connect them, but they're out there, and it feels good to when you get to connect with people like that. Like you said, it's like the market is so saturated, but when you try to find these people to connect with them, work with them, just talk about the writing and the craft and everything that's going on, that seems hard. You know, even though you go on Amazon, there's 8 bazillion books. Like, where are all these people writing these books?
Where are these guys? Where do they live?
Yeah.
No, I think those little scenes and those little groups of people exist in every, you know, all around us, and you just kind of have to scratch the surface a little bit to find it. And then when you do, it's like, oh, it was here the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
It's awesome.
But that's cool, man. I'm glad you got some bizarro folks up there.
Yeah.
You said you're doing like a reading in a brewery or something? Or
I did, yeah.
How did that go?
That went smashing, actually. We found a local brew pub, not a brew pub, a brewery.
Yeah.
And I did a book signing. I released a book. I did a book signing with a fellow horror writer, and it went over smashing. I had about 30 people come out, plus all the patrons in the bar, and I mean, it was a good time, and it was incredible. The bar itself is very gothic. Like, there's demons painted all over the walls, and everything's
cool.
kind of, it really lends itself to doing like horror book signings. So the atmosphere was awesome, and everybody came out, and we had a good time. A bunch of writers from the area, like I said, came down hanging out, and it went over well. I was surprised, and I think hanging out in a brewery where people are just, you know, I wasn't pitching, come check out my books. I was pitching, come have a beer with me, you know, come hang out. That's what I wanted. And people came out and hung out and had a good time, and we're kind of easy going. Oh yeah, cool. Picked up books, no problem. Maybe get them a little drunk and loosen up the purse strings, but you know, whatever. It was a great time. It worked out really good.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That had to be that's like the perfect setting for a horror or bizarro type reading. And I bet that, like you said, other authors came out from around the area. I bet that was really encouraging for them to see something like that, and maybe they'll, you know, want to get more involved in something like that.
Yeah,
so that's really cool.
There were 2 guys that came, Tim Meyer, I'll name drop Tim Meyer and Hunter Shea. They
cool.
came out, and they had just done the week before a brewery like in South Jersey, down in the Pine Barrens, because Hunter Shea wrote a book about the Jersey Devil and themed it that way. And they had a good time there. It seems like these breweries are really a good way to, you know, like I pitched it. I went into the manager and I said, you know, we're doing this thing, and we got books, and we want to know, like, you know, if we come in, we set up a table, sell our books, and, you know, we can have one hand washes the other. We'll bring 20, 30, 40 people in, and we'll sell some books, and they'll buy some beer from you. And they were all about it, and it worked out just like that. So, you know, we have an open invitation to come back from the brewery, which is really what I was looking for to begin with.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of breweries here, so that gets the old wheels turning in my head.
Yeah, it's a great avenue. Like they seem to be popping up not only all over New Jersey, but I mean all over the country. All these local breweries, so it's. I think it's a really good resource if writers want to look down that path. Just go onto Google and search local breweries and just start reaching out to them. I think you'd be surprised how well it'll work out.
Oh yeah, we had I had a party for the Porn Star Retirement Plan release at a bar here in Houston, and that went really well. But a brewery might be even better.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same sort of thing. We had there's weird laws, at least as far as New Jersey goes, with breweries, because they're not. It's not a bar, So you're tasting beer. You're tasting what they brew, So it's a tasting room. It's not a bar. When you walk in the place, you're supposed to take a tour, where you walk.
Right.
Either they have a little video presentation how we do this, or in this case at Demented Brewing, you just kind of walk in their brewing room and they just have some diagrams laid out with their tanks, and this is how the beer is made. Now you can drink the beer in our tasting room. And we couldn't, like when we were promoting it, we couldn't directly link them in social media and stuff like that. I could say their name, but not, really connect ourselves to it.
Oh, weird.
So, and I think that's really more just kind of weird New Jersey laws than anything else. I'm sure it's a little less tighter, stringent rules in other states, but it still went off without a hitch. I like the bar idea too. I always was looking for the bar idea, but I've been out of the bar scene, so I don't really have a good tight connection with somebody I could reach out to. But I think bars would work out as well.
Oh yeah, dude. It was my friends in Bootown helped me throw it. Lindsay and Emily, shout out. And we were in this bar called Poison Girl that has a backyard area, and we just threw a party, man, and had some other people did some readings of my work before me, and then I did the main reading, and then I sold all the books, and then I played a set with my band, and that closed out the night. So it was just kind of like it was another way of putting my fingers in all the pies, I guess.
Yeah, that's good stuff too. When you can do readings and stuff. See, that was one of those rules we couldn't do because they're not allowed to provide entertainment. So if we sat there and did a reading, that would qualify as entertainment. So I didn't really want to breach that that thing.
Just be like, you prove it was entertaining.
Yeah. So I was like, everybody, let's pour out in the parking lot. I'm gonna go read. It's freezing cold in New Jersey, but screw it, So having it in a straight up bar would be a little cool. You could do that kind of stuff too. So I'm looking for any avenue, anything that works. If we can set up at the Dairy Queen and sell books, I'll try it out.
Hey, if it works, shoot me a message.
Definitely. So, with that in mind, what you got? All this stuff came out bang. Is there anything in the works right now, writing wise?
Yeah. I'm always writing something. I wrote another kind of novella that I originally pitched to Garrett for the New Bizarre Author Series this year, and he was like, man, I already heard that pitch similar to that, so no. Before I pitched him at Poster, so that's completed. And then I'm working on 2 different short story collections. And I talked a little bit to the Rooster guys about them. We'll see, nothing. They're still just works in progress. But yeah, I mean, I got some stuff ready to go, so you just have to find the right homes for it. So I'll just keep plugging along.
You're just always writing, whether you got something in the works or not. There's always something getting worked on. Yeah.
I'm super weird about that kind of stuff and obsessed with time and wasting time, and I can't relax, and that's why I do 40 things at once, as you can tell.
Yeah, I was going to say you're obsessed with time, but I don't know where you get any doing all the things that you do.
It's a delicate balance, I'll tell you that.
But you still have you have to get every day some writing in. Is it that type of thing?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I write my goals out every morning in a notebook, and the first goal that I always write down is write 1,000 words. So that's what I'm always trying to do every day.
Mm-hmm. Whether you get there
sometimes, more often than not, I get to it. I kind of force myself just to keep writing. But if I get 700-800 words, that's cool. If I get 400 words, whatever. But I always have that goal in mind that I'm working towards that. So
1,000 words
helps me.
really ain't. If you're rolling, 1,000 words is pretty easy actually. So it's not
Yeah,
an
oh, yeah.
unattainable goal. There's
Nah.
people talking about the 5,000 words a day. I'm like,
No, I
where
don't.
do you
I
come
don't
from?
think so. Yeah.
Not me. Not God bless those people for sure.
Yeah, jeez. There's not enough Adderall in the world for that for me.
It doesn't feel like it. It does not feel like it. How about John Wayne is Dead? You guys touring all the time? Always able to go see you on the weekends and whatnot?
Yeah, man, we're here and there. We perform in the Micro Satan show that we do every month here in Houston. We play around Houston a lot. We kind of slowed down a little bit. My drummer's had a kid recently, so we kind of had to pull back on all our traveling. But we'll be in Beaumont this Saturday, which is Beaumont's like a town like kind of on the border of Texas and Louisiana. Some new punk rock club opened there, and this girl reached out to us to come play. So we're new to that, but yeah, all that stuff is at johnwayneisdead.com, all the dates. But we'll probably be around Houston at least until February and start getting back out. So
good stuff. I mean, we're just about out of time here, so if you just want to let everybody know, there's got to be a million ways to like check you out, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Where do we go to find all your good shit?
Yeah, man, I'm everywhere. I'm on the Facebook. It's just my name, John Wayne Comunale, but all my other handles are just John Wayne is Dead, all one word. Like that's how you have to search it. So that's my Instagram, at John Wayne is Dead, and Twitter. The YouTube channel, I believe, is John Wayne is Dead. Yeah, and you can always go to johnwayneisdead.com. Just trying to stay on brand here, guys. But yeah, and check it out. Check out those books and the trailers, and follow me. And I post. I'm on the Snapchat as John Wayne is Dead. There's a lot of shirtless pictures of me that I send. Just trying to get in where I can. So if that helps you follow me, please do.
Yeah, and really, Zongers, have your money ready before you play the book trailer for Ant Poster, because you're going to want to buy it after seeing this wonderful book trailer on YouTube. I got to get the book now. It's not
awesome.
I got to preface it. We're not available on ebook just yet. Is that going to be a thing for Ant Poster and even Chargeland? I haven't noticed there's no ebook just yet.
I know Chargeland for sure has an ebook. Don should be loading it up this week. I know he was trying to do it the week before BizarroCon, but they just had too much on their plate. So it should be up soon. I'll shoot him a message just to be sure.
Sweet.
And Ant Poster, I thought that they were gonna have ebooks of that, but I don't know. I'll have to check on that too. But when those things come out, I'll be blasting links all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. As of this recording, I was looking on Amazon. No ebooks as of this recording. It might change, I guess, at any moment, because I guess the books were kind of getting rushed out to be out for BizarroCon, at least the paperbacks, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Understand.
But I was gonna say, Porn Star Retirement Plan is on ebooks, so you can pick that up.
Yeah, I did this podcast, and I was kind of hesitant about those erotica bizarro books, but I've come around interviewing all you fine people at New Kink, especially, have helped to turn me around. Is it really dirty, filthy, the Porn Star Retirement Plan?
It's not erotica in the sense of like, oh yeah, I want you to jerk off to this book, but it's just a funny story about what happens to porn stars, famous porn stars, when it's time for them to be put out to pasture and how they handle that.
Nice.
So it's not like
all right
meant to arouse you. I mean, it could. That's cool, whatever. But that's not its primary purpose.
I'll save the money I use on not needing tissues. I'll buy Ant Poster.
Yeah.
There we go. John Wayne Comunale, thank you so much for joining on Bizzong this week. I mean, the best of luck to you. You've just blown up this year, so you don't need any luck. You're doing it, buddy.
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate you having me on, man. I really enjoy the show every week, so keep up the good work, dude.
Mr. John Wayne Comunale. Zongers, what a fun interview that guy is. And he's got so much going on. It's really incredible. When I talk to the bizarro people out there writing that have so much other stuff going on, like where do they find the time to do any of it, let alone, tour in a punk band, obviously write and record music for them, and he's writing with the group over there, and he's doing these little comedy sketch stuff, and he's writing his own books, and like where do you do any of it? It's so much. So hats off to John Wayne Comunale. Check out his books for sure. 3 of them out this year. Like I said, he exploded onto the scene in 2016. So he's got a lot out there for you to check out. Check out any and all of it. It all sounds like some great Bizarro going on. Right-ho? Right-ho. Zongers! As always, I'd like to remind you that Bizzong is, of course, available for advertising your products, yourself, and your wares. Just reach out to me, Mr. Frank, from the Bizzong Podcast, or you can just email Project Entertainment Network and just reach out and ask us about ad rates. We'll get back to you, and we can tailor stuff depending on what you need. We'll try to work with your budget and get something that works for you. We are available, of course, as well as the rest of the podcast on the network for advertising. And please, Zongers, please, if you can, if you have a moment to spare, and rate this episode of Bizzong on iTunes, on Stitcher. They have a little thumbs up and thumbs down on Stitcher. Or give it some stars and a little blurb on iTunes. All that stuff is really excellent and helpful. And of course, if you see the posts out there on Facebook or Twitter, like retweet us and share the links around. All those things are really big, giant, huge helps in spreading the word of Bizzong and, of course, of Bizarro. And it just takes a fraction of a second to do. So I would really appreciate that. And all the fine folks who come here and take the time to interview and entertain you for an hour each week, they would appreciate it as well. So, Zongers, with that in mind, it's another episode in the books, and you are free to go and listen to these other great Project Entertainment Network podcasts.
I'm Captain Dallas Lee, and I'm one of them characters in the Curtain Jerkers, Project Entertainment Network's pro wrestling podcast. Every Friday, Token Top Clark, Steve Mesa, and the Viking Superkick Pro Wrestling in the hot spot, featuring interviews with the up-and-coming indie superstars that are stable that shoots while it works. You can only hear them on the Project Entertainment Network. Thank you very much. Remember the Alamo!
Project Entertainment Network presents Buttercup of Doom with your host, Kelly Owen. Just a girl who writes horror and thriller fiction, talks to bugs, jumps in puddles, and now hosts a weekly podcast full of opinions, advice, and a touch of gypsy wisdom. Whether it's current affairs or social media nightmares, join me as I rant and rave and offer up a big old bucket of common sense. Wednesdays on Buttercup of Doom.